Let's make my Chaos Builder quilt pattern using 10-inch squares. For today's video, I am making the throw size quilt measuring at 54 inches by 63 inches. This pattern is available as a free PDF in 5 quilt sizes: baby, throw, twin, queen, and king, which I will link down below in the video's description. For the fabrics, I am using Monsterville by AGF Studios for Art Gallery fabrics. Now let's get started. With each 10-inch square, subcut one 2.5 inch by 9.5 inch rectangle, one 3.5 inch by 7.5 inch rectangle, and one 6.5 inch by 7.5 inch rectangle. This pattern is pretty much a zero waste, as you can see here, and all you have to do is repeat this step to all of your 10-inch squares. Now that everything is cut, you will select one 2.5 inch by 9.5 inch rectangle, one 3.5 inch by 7.5 inch rectangle, and one 6.5 inch by 7.5 inch rectangle in mixed prints. First, sew the 3.5 inch by 7.5 inch and the 6.5 inch by 7.5 inch rectangles together on the longest side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving you with a 7.5 inch by 9.5 inch rectangle. Then lastly, you'll sew the 2.5 inch by 9.5 inch rectangle on the left side, leaving you with a 9.5 inch square. And that's it. Repeat this until you have enough blocks for the quilt size you've selected, and for the throw size, that is 42 quilt blocks. Now that all of your blocks are completed, it is time for the fun part, and that is perfect for beginners as there are no rules to the layout. You can place them side by side, upside down, 90 degrees, 180 degrees. You can even rotate blocks so you never have a seam line up besides the block itself. Basically, go improv as there is no wrong way, which will give this quilt an even more scrappier look. And the best part, you'll never know if you made a mistake. And for the throw size, lay your blocks out in a 6 by 7 block layout. Then, as always, sew the blocks together to form rows, and lastly, sew the rows together to complete your quilt top. Here is what my Chaos Builder quilt looks like all finished. For the backing, I am using a print from within the collection. Then for the thread choice, I am going with glide threads in the color Cerulean. And here is what my quilt looks like all quilted out. For my Longarm quilters, I chose Belly Bop from Urban Elements, which I will link down below in the video's description. Do note that this Longarm pattern is huge. It normally is 15 inches tall, roughly, and what I did is size it down to 9 inches tall. But once again, this pattern is available as a free PDF in 5 quilt sizes: baby, throw, twin, queen, and king. And I do hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.